I'm actually at Augusta with my dad for the first time.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're trying to just, fill him with some cool stuff since
That's so great, though, dude.
Since mom's no longer around, right?
But that's
yes.
so great. Dude, that's so awesome.
I know.
That's so bucket listy, dude.
Yeah, we're really excited, man. It's going to be fun. And my brother's coming in this afternoon, so.
Oh, I'm fucking jealous. I don't even like golf. I'm jealous, dude.
I don't think I'll watch golf. I just want to walk the course,
Yeah, exactly. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Let's start there, since Chris Long has a unique relationship with his own father and would have a special appreciation for what it is Stugotz is doing as we welcome him in from Augusta. Stugotz, tell both Chris, and good seeing you, Chris. Thank you for being on with us.
Good
Everybody
to see you,
listening to us right now, his podcast, Green Light with Chris Long, is available wherever you get your podcasts. I admire him for a lot of reasons, not just his playing career, but what he's trying to do in this space, creating a little world that is his so that he can get good at the broadcasting game. We've been talking about this lately with how much Dwayne Wade has worked at the craft of being an excellent broadcaster, because he's sort of meticulous about, I'm going to be as good at broadcasting, or try to be, as I am and was at sports. That my late career identity is going to be crafting something that doesn't end my life at 35 when an athlete's life ends. So I really admire Chris Long for a lot of different reasons, and the relationship with his father is a unique one. But before we get to all that, Stugotz, tell us what's going on at Augusta and who you're going to have from out there, because you're doing this on behalf of Elijah Craig. They have sent you out there so that you can experience this with your father, and it is a bucket list thing. So tell people what we're going to be doing today from out there.
Yeah, we're at the Double Eagle Club right now, so I'm about 15 feet away from Magnolia Lane, which gives me goosebumps. I am right across the street here from Augusta, and so my dad is with me. He is hanging out. He's eating breakfast right now. My love for golf and my love for the Masters for this tournament came from my dad. It was my dad's favorite sport. It was like a religious experience in my house every year that the Masters was on, and so, but we've never been, and so we wanted to come, and with my mom passing away just over a year ago, we're just trying to do some of the things that I know my dad wants to do, and this is one of those things. And so today, we will step foot for the first time onto that golf course. And I'm not so certain I'll be interested in the golf as much as I'll be interested in just walking the golf course and seeing the things that I've seen for, the last 30, 40 years on my television. I'm really excited for it. And thanks to Elijah Craig Bourbon for making this happen for us.
And Chris Long, as I said, Green Light with Chris Long, wherever you get your podcasts. Obviously, the relationship with your father, Chris, it must be both blessing and curse. Huge, huge blessings all over the place. But then the weight of having to live up to the guy who professionally might be regarded as having done the same job that you did, slightly better, but that doesn't diminish who.
A little more than slightly. That fucking guy was pretty good, Dan. Hey, listen, his podcast is nowhere near as good as mine. Okay, I'll put it that way. Listen, having a dad like that is you put it right. I mean, it's a blessing. It can be a curse. I mean, certainly, like at every level of football, people question your accomplishments. People, take shots depending on, that whole thing. Like you never had a gold jacket. Like, well, I mean, add me to the list of, however billion other people don't. I'm very happy with my career and what I was able to accomplish. But I also know that was something that pushed me and made me tougher and made me thicker skinned. I mean, like, you just have to deal with a lot of shit because of that. But there's also a trade-off, which is that when I leave the field and you know how a lot of people's dads are like, they'll tell you a good game no matter what because they want to build you up, and I totally get that. Like, my dad's going to be honest with me, and he's also going to know how I played. Like the worst question my dad could ask me was like walking off the field, seeing him in the tunnel by the buses, and he's like, "How'd you think you played?" Which is obviously it's a rhetorical question. So
that one hurts though. No, but that one hurts, right? To be a professional like Chris, it was really hard to get where you got. It's really hard to get to the quarterback. It's really hard to make a living with the set of skills that require for you to get back there quicker than your dad ever did because of how fast those quarterbacks are getting rid of the ball while you're trying to get back there. And he can just slice through it and also make you feel like you're a high school kid again, or 10 years old, where he's
yeah. But I honestly, like, I loved it because I don't like bullshit, man. Like, I don't want, NFL coaches, they're not always going to tell you exactly how you played on a Monday. They're gonna change the way they break down the film depending on whether you lost or won. Like, I've been in games, and most of the games that I played in, I lost because I played in St. Louis for 8 years. So, when you're 1-15, nobody cares if you have 2-3 sacks or 5 quarterback hits or you were a terror on the field. You're going to come in on Monday and everything's going to be doom and gloom. My dad, after a loss, is going to tell me how well I played or how poorly I played, and after a win is going to tell me the same thing. And all I ever want is it's straight with no chaser. And that's been what I've been able to get from my dad. And I appreciate that. And also, like, our positions were a little bit different. He played inside a little more. He was a 3-tech a lot more. But we kind of did the same thing. And so, like you said, he knows. I mean, he knows exactly what I'm thinking. He knows what my keys are for the most part. Now, there's certain things that will come up, like a puller will come, and he'll be like, why didn't you spill that? And I'm like, well, Dad, that's against the rules in our defense. It's like, well, that wasn't against the rules in 1983 when Earl Leggett was coaching me. I'm like, dude, things change. Other than that, like, it's a perfect relationship, and honestly, I consider him one of my best friends. Football is like a part of what we are, but it's so far from that, and it's the way that I want to model my relationship with my kids after, because I also know that my kids are going to be like third-generation football players if they decide to do that, and that's probably even more pressure. So, they got an uncle who was a great player. So I want to make sure that football, as my dad did, is not mandatory. It was never mandatory for me. The only caveat was if you pick football, you have to outwork everybody. And so I never really got a lot of cover in the work ethic department because my dad knew what it took.
If I take a shot at tequila and I chase it with a lime, is that a chaser? Like, does that count?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
What is the chaser? If your father was trying to give you the truth with a chaser, where, like, it's just, you played okay, but you were kind of a coward in the fourth quarter. I don't know. He
would never use the word coward. I don't think that's a word he's ever had to use. But the one thing he never had to do, well, he says he never had to do, is question my effort. But, there are things like execution or having a good game plan, rushing. Sometimes his biggest pet peeve would be if I wasn't attacking half man. Half man being like, get on the edge, rip that son of a bitch, which it was what he would do in the 80s, just throw a big Mike
arm.
Tyson uppercut.
Just a big arm, a big ridiculous Howie Long, Cro-Magnon man arm. Just do it this way, the way your dad's got a bigger right arm than everybody, and just knock the offensive lineman into the quarterback with your giant right arm.
Yeah, look at this film of Reggie White humping somebody where, at home, humping is when you get underneath somebody's outside arm with a rip. And you're so powerful that Jake in the 80s was just running full speed towards the opposite end zone, and then you take him under his opposite armpit and you flip him on his back and then go sack the quarterback. I've only seen like 3 players do that, but this was the type of film. It's like, do you ever watch your dad's film? I'm like, yeah, I watch it, but it's funny. It's like in the NFL when they're like, you should watch, they show you Julius Pepper's film, and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Who are the other two?
I don't know. I'm a human. I'm a mere mortal, man. Like, show me some Aaron Campman footage or something, dude.
What your dad is longing for is you hooking somebody who's 350 pounds with your right arm and throwing that person into the quarterback.
I had a different way of doing it. That's the funny thing. Our rush styles were so different. Like, he would never do some of the things I would do. I would never do some of the things he would do. And we finished, 13 sacks different. But, he's an 8-time Pro Bowl player and the whole thing and rushed all up and down the line. I think what was so great about my dad was he could play nose, he could play in a shade, he could play a 3, and then he could get out on the edge and mix it up. But, I mean, he was all over the field and he was explosive. I mean, he beat everybody off the ball. There was a memory I have of my dad, and I just met Joe Gibbs this weekend because I went to my second NASCAR race ever, which was actually a lot more fun than I thought. And, Joe Gibbs, the first story he told was how you couldn't trap my dad. Obviously a trap block being, that back block where they try to confuse. Because if you trap Howie Long, like Howie Long's going to beat the trap block. He was so fast off the ball. One of my biggest childhood memories of my dad was going to my friend Blake Solomon's house, playing NHL all day, turning the game off. And it was the third quarter of the Buffalo AFC Championship game. I wasn't even watching the game because my dad didn't make a big deal about football. And I was like, oh, look, Dad's playing. And then he jumped off sides. And they're like, Howie Long jumps off sides for the 5th time today. So Howie Long like to get off the damn rock, dude.
5 offside.
5, dude.
You'd never play again if you jumped offside.
No, but it also goes to show how fucking good he was. You can't jump off sides 5 times if you're not like a Hall of Famer. Like, I got 2 in a game, like 2, and that was pretty good. My dad got 5 in a game, dude. Like, I would have been yanked at 3.
Back to literal drinking, though. I like to think that I don't need a chaser with a shot, but I do like a lime with a tequila. Is that a chaser? I need a final answer on this.
Well, I don't do the lime because I think limes and lemons are like the most dangerous fucking thing at the whole bar. Like, they're just like, you might as well be eating a Petri dish
That's
of
true.
whatever.
A lot of people touch those.
Yeah, and also, like, I don't like to give people the satisfaction. Tequila is like the number one, like, I'm buying a shot for you. And when you get 37 years old, like, you don't want to take free shots anymore. So, like, when somebody comes over with a lime, it's almost like, I don't want your lime. Just give me the shot. I'm all business. Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun, and now I'm shit-faced.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Do you stop with the shots of anything, wanting the shots of anything, once you've reached 37 years old? I love the clip somebody sent us the other day of Peyton Manning talking to Marshawn Lynch about superstitions. It's a year or 2 old, but Marshawn Lynch told Peyton Manning that he used to take a shot before games, and Peyton Manning was like, "What kind of shot?" And Marshawn Lynch was just baffled. He's like, "What do you?" Hennessy, like, what kind of shot did you think I was talking about? And Peyton Manning says, "I don't know, Gatorade," and then goes to Toradol, and he's like, "No, man, in my backpack," he said, because Peyton was like, "So you'd go to a bar or something?" And he's like, "No, in my backpack." You saw this, right? Have you seen this, Chris?
Peyton knows. Peyton knows. Like, Peyton knows how Money got that shot in the locker room. Like, it's not hard to get a little bottle of, like, a mini fridge bottle of Hennessy in your backpack. There's no TSA for us. Like, it's all good. I had a shot of Jack once or twice before a game, but it wasn't like a religious thing. It was more when I was hurt and miserable towards the end of my career in St. Louis. And you mix that with the vitamin T, which you just referred to, the Toradol, and you really feel no pain, dude. You just go out there, it takes the edge off. I remember hearing stories about defensive lines in the NFL, relatively notable ones, taking a shot before a big game, like, as a group. Like, just one, it's not a big deal.
Well, we've learned since that there are the insides on the Toradol can be that the inside of your body could be wrecked by some of the dangers of Toradol. But I heard Ricky Williams talking at a symposium at South by Southwest saying that after games, a doctor would just roll through the aisles with a cart of Vicodin and painkillers, just sort of passing them out. And I didn't know it was like that. I knew.
I missed that. I mean, like, I missed that. I'm not saying Ricky didn't tell the truth, because Ricky's the man. But, like, Ricky's a couple years before me, and I feel like so much changed in the NFL about when our age guys got in the league. Like, from the contracts, the CBA, like in 2011, training camp, the way we treat injuries, concussions, like it was the dawn of a new day in the NFL. So we never got the cart of Vicodin, but like, there was a point at the end of my career where they changed from Toradol injections, which go in your butt cheek, which get right in there fast and work really well. And I could never play a game without Toradol, especially towards the end of my career. Are you kidding me? I got to a certain team, and they were trying to do Toradol pills to dissuade people from doing the injections. And the trainer said, this is my first game. They were like, we don't do Toradol injections. And I was like, well, Chris Long doesn't play without Toradol injections. And you can go tell the head coach. And the head coach came over and was like, what are we doing here? Give him a fucking shot, dude. Like, I need my third end today. So I get the dangers of Toradol, but you're asking us to do a very violent thing. And I feel like if we're opting into doing this very violent thing and, like, having fans at home who are wondering why we look hurt or slow or injured, like, and they want to see quality football, I think Toradol is a very good thing.
I urge you to check out his podcast, Greenlight with Chris Long. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. You will see some of the innards of the sport, but you're very careful not to be critical of others. You know how hard this is. You don't want to be the broadcaster. Ooh. It would be really easy for you to further your career very quickly if you would just get out there and start saying, this guy's a bust, this guy stinks, this guy's overpaid, this guy that. You wouldn't have liked that very much as a player, and you don't do it. You don't do it as a broadcaster.
Evidently, I did it last week.
Well, you got the Tua people mad, and you got to be careful. Tuanon is sensitive. Mike Ryan has learned. Yeah. Mike Ryan, you tell Chris Long what is the truth about the Miami Dolphins quarterback. Truth, no chaser, like Howie Long would give it.
Straight truth is the national media has been beyond disrespectful to Tua Tagovailoa because he's the greatest quarterback to ever step on the gridiron. And Chris Long, shame on you for not knowing that just off the bat. How dare you?
Mike, I thought I accepted him as my Lord and Savior the other day in your mentions, dude. I've tried to listen. Here's the thing about Tua. And people, my producers are right here. They're probably going to nod along. Like, I've always loved Tua as a guy. Like, there's nobody who I think is more classy.
Salt of the earth.
This occupies like that really shitty like area on the graph. It's like somebody who I might have to say something less than complimentary about in a football sense, but I really don't want to, because I don't want anybody to misconstrue it as gratuitous. And like when I went up on Get Up last week, and by the way, all the Tuanon people, I don't work for ESPN, so you can stop tweeting them and telling ESPN to fire me for my bad takes. I have a podcast on my own, boss.
Perpetuating
you can
their
check
agenda.
that one out at Greenlight. What is it, Greenlight Pod at Twitter? Okay, good. My producers say yes. So, I got on there and we were talking about the Davante Adams trade, which I thought, a lot of people initially were a little bit skeptical of the fact that the guy would want to go play with Derek Carr rather than Aaron Rodgers. And I thought that was funny considering they played in the same amount of playoff games last year. And that's not a shot. I don't want Packers Twitter to be mad at me. I actually like the trade better than the Tyreek Hill trade. And I guess it's because I just saw Patrick Mahomes throwing Tyreek Hill the ball any place on the field for the last 5-6 years, and it was the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And it's not just a 9, it's not just a go route, contrary to Tuanon and everything that they've tweeted at me. It's all types of throws. I mean, it's that arm arrogance that 8 to 10 quarterbacks in the NFL have that, quite frankly, and I don't think this is a hot take, Tua doesn't have. Now, I understand McDaniel is going to scheme things up for them, but what happens with the RPOs? Is he gonna work that into their offense? Like, he's more of a boot guy. Is Tua going to be turning his back to the defense? Is he, like Tua? I know Tua can throw the deep ball if he loads up and throws the deep ball, but we know the reality is you're trying to rework your offensive line. He's not the best off the spot, just winging it. He doesn't have that arm arrogance of a bunch of other quarterbacks. And you play in the AFC where you need an absolute dude. So, classifying a guy as a middling quarterback is not a huge insult. I didn't punch a baby, dude. Like,
ooh, yeah, you did.
You're punching one right now. You're
punching my
right now.
baby.
You're kicking fetuses down the street
you
like
did
you
it.
are a monster.
A
monster.
Number one,
Hey,
you didn't blame
man.
Chan Gailey once. So that's
I do blame Chan Gailey, and I live in the gray. Like, Chan Gailey has stunted his development. A bad offensive line has stunted his development.
There you go.
All these things have stunted his development.
Say
But guess
Myles
what?
Gaskin a couple more times.
I was once a top 5 pick, dude. Nobody was like, well, he's not getting a lot of sacks because they're in 4-minute mode the whole fucking game. Like, nobody in national media came to save me, and this isn't me grinding an axe on top 5 picks, dude. Like, I want Tua to succeed, and I think next year you guys are going to be a yactory, dude. Like, I think with Jalen.
Oh my God!
Yeah, right.
You didn't just announce that. Did he just
come up with yactory?
Did he officially anoint us a yactory? Or the Miami?
You guys are going to be a yactory, man.
Oh yes, this is.
And I totally get, because people send me all types of clips, and statistics. I can read stats too about how often Tyreek caught the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. I get it, and you'll do the same thing. But the threat of taking the top off the defense, and I know you hate that buzzword because I'm like the new guy that gets blamed for all the ex-boyfriends, and all the national media have been hurting you for so many months. I come in peace, but Tua just doesn't have that arm arrogance. Where do you rank him in the AFC?
No. Wow, you're doing so
well. Where do I rank
with
him in the AFC? Number one.
Yeah, where do you rank him in the AFC?
I rank him number one in the NFC too.
Huh?
He's number one in the NFC too, Chris Long.
But in all seriousness, you're playing in the AFC in a division with Josh Allen, and I would have said the same thing had Tyreek been traded to the Patriots and Mac Jones. I don't think that kid has an amazing arm either.
No, he stinks.
But the difference is that if I said that, even Patriots Twitter isn't going to be shitting.
Do you know how hard it is to be a person who uses the phrase yaktery and talks about arm arrogance and is now actively disliked by our entire audience because you have dared to blaspheme against the holy savior Tua Tagovailoa? I can't even pronounce his name still.
Tua Twitter is fucking remarkable, dude. You guys are like the first metaverse. Like, you're in your own reality. You don't need any reality. Like, you guys just have your own like little, like, you're in your spaces all day. You've kind of insulated yourselves from the rest of the world, and I think it's pretty admirable. Like, you're on an island. I love it. Good for you.
You want him to succeed, but you doubt whether he will, and you think that Tyreek Hill will not be running all over the yaktery. You think he will be, like a foreman or an employee in the yaktery, not like the boss of the yaktery.
I think you guys. I just don't think it's a hot take to say I'd rather seen Tyreek Hill somewhere else.
Oh, it's offensive.
Oh,
I'd rather see Chris Long somewhere else, honestly.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Where?
Stugotz, get in here from Augusta.
Where would you rather see me?
Get in here from Augusta, Stugotz. What do you got for Chris Long?
Things are happening. By the way, Long, wait until Brady becomes the Dolphins quarterback, okay? Wait until that happens. That's a year from now. What?
Well, you guys already tried to trade for somebody with like 37 civil cases. So, I mean, like, that's a vote of confidence for your quarterback.
This Masters, I'm so distracted right now, Chris, because we have a leaderboard that is straight out of the 90s. Patty Harrington is your leader at -2, and you have guys, don't look now, Dan. Larry Mize is just +1. He is 3 off the lead. We have Vijay Singh in contention. We have Freddie Couples in contention. We have former Master Champion Mike Weir in contention. Everything is, and Stuart Sink just got into contention, and we're only 3 holes in.
That's all the old guys tee off early. What are you doing?
3 holes in.
That's what day one's all about,
He
Mike.
doesn't know how to
I know
read
some of those names.
He does not know how to read a leaderboard. Give us the update on your dad. What did he have for breakfast? What are these first steps going to be chronicled as you emotionally, as Elijah Craig sponsors the idea of drinking around golf with your dad?
My dad's going to be very, very emotional. He is emotional. He's emotional just being this close to Magnolia Lane, being this close to the tournament itself. And so I imagine when he and I walk on that course together for the first time, there will be some tears because it means that much to my father. I don't know if I'll cry. I know he will because he has watched this tournament his entire life, and this is a place he's wanted to come to his entire life. So I imagine today will be a very emotional day for him.
Put it on the poll. Are we going to get?
But right now he's eating an omelet.
Are we going to get the original crocodile tears today from Stugotz's dad as he walks Augusta? The podcast, again, Green Light with Chris Long. You should be listening to him. He will give it to you undistilled, even, good God, what a hot taker, in the face of the mightiest force that we have seen anywhere in sports entertainment. Tuanon, you blasphemed against. You'll live to regret it. So
I know. I got people with dolphin masks telling me they're gonna meet me in Temecula and shit. It's fucking weird. Dude.
You think you want him to succeed, but you fear he's going to fail. It's a 1-year experiment.
No, not fail. Hey, Dad, and not fail. I'm talking about at some point you're gonna be left wanting more. Even if McDaniel works some Shanahan type magic and he's got 100 passer rating like Jimmy G. What's going on in San Francisco right now? And I love Jimmy G, and I think they should keep him. But everybody and their mother's like, get Jimmy G out of San Francisco. It's time to move on. And they were in the Super Bowl. So what do you think Miami fans are going to say in a year when you guys don't win a playoff game because the AFC is so loaded and you need a guy, dude, like a guy.
Don't win a playoff game?
What good is a guy when you have a god?
Yeah.
Don't win a playoff game? You came in here to explain yourself to the Dolphin audience?
And taking the tops off the defense, let me tell you something, Chris Long.
You hit me.
Former alleged draft bust who turned his career around by just jumping on franchises that won rings for chasing a globe is what you were doing.
Teams tops that you guys actually watch on TV.
Yeah. Tops are going to be coming off this defense quicker than 1980s fans attending a Poison concert on the Sunset Strip. God damn it.
Yes.
I love the people calling me the Tuanon people calling me a bust when I got paid like like a big second contract. So I'll be looking for that from your quarterback with the same team that drafted him. I'll be looking for that second contract.
He's putting the pressure
Thank
on
you
you
for
to,
not mentioning the Orange Bowl closing.
This is
48-0.
Stop it.
This is what you have to learn, though, Long, if you really want to climb in this business. I understand your own boss. You have your own empire. Greenlight with Chris Long is a popular success. But if you really want to climb, you need a little more Bayless. You need to take these opinions and sharpen them up so that you sever the head of Tua and you come running like a gorilla into the army of Tuanon, just fighting right and left. If you really want to blossom here.
I would never. I like the kid, so I don't want to make it personal, but these Tuanon guys, man.
No, but you're the guy who said the thing. You understand that what Miami wants to make a jump from a regional team to a national team. They have, this comes with it. We are looking for the people who are saying the mean things about our quarterback because it means our team matters. You played on these relevant teams at the end of your career. We were a regional football team in Miami, and we need the quarterback to make us better.
Dan, stop trying to talk sense into Chris Long. He's going to be so embarrassed when Tua is lifting the Lombardi trophy and then reveals that he's been JFK Jr. all along.
If Tua gets a and I've already lost the tattoo bet once because I said in Philly if we won a Super Bowl that I'd get Ken Flagel's tattoos, the linebackers coach. And so I have that. But if Tua wins a Super Bowl, no question, I'll give you a Tua portrait tattoo like he's some fucking...
A tattoo?
Wow.
Yeah, tattoo. I'll give you a tattoo if Tua wins
All right. It has
wins
been
the Super Bowl, dude. But he can't be like... in 8 years or something when he's bringing the next young gun along somewhere it's got to be Tua in a Dolphins uniform. I will get the biggest Tua tattoo, not the biggest, but
Okay, well it's a deal then. He has agreed to terms. This is how he's going to increase his profile and skyrocket into the sky by agreeing to get what he will clearly now have to get, a giant tattoo. Thank you.
Not giant.
You said pretty big.
I amended the contract before I signed it.
You said a portrait.
Backtracking.
How big will it be? Where are we going to put it? You don't have a lot of space left anywhere on the body.
No, I got space. I got a ton of space, dude. I have white man's burden. I got these love handles. I could put them here. I got a little belly fat. I got leg tattoo space.
Can I get
all
an
types of
ass
space.
cheek? Can I get a tattoo?
There's no fucking way I'm tattooing a man on my ass cheek or anything on my ass cheek.
It wouldn't be a man. It would be a god.
It would be a god, dude. It would be a god. It would be a god.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it, sir.
Hey, thank y'all.